Welcome to Growing Up Boomer. I'm your host, Padre, with my co-host, Cotton. And this podcast is dedicated to the life and times of the baby boomer generation. The show is loosely scripted, and sometimes we'll go down rabbit holes, and where it leads us to, one will never know. This podcast can be informative, funny, and sometimes irreverent. But most of all, we hope you find it entertaining. Hey, Cotton, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing fine, Padre, and you?
Oh, I'm doing just fantastic. But you know what I tell my kids?
And?
Is it, at my age, whenever I bend over, I always make noise because that's the law.
That is the law.
That is the law.
Too bad about the trail. Too bad about the trail you leave behind.
By the way, your daughter's wedding was last weekend?
Yeah, and that's when all this crap happened to me. It was terrible. I mean, we went the first day. It was beautiful, right in the middle of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started getting like bronchial kind of issues, and Debbie was coughing and sneezing, and we went back to the hotel at night, and we couldn't even move the next day, so we missed the wedding.
Oh no!
At least we got to see. Yeah, at least we got to see her before then. But man, I'm still sick from it.
Wow!
It's just it knocked me on my butt, and that's when this whole back thing happened too.
Oh geez, like that big bruise.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, and I don't know what happened, or
I call that an I call that an old man bruise. You don't know where they come from. All of a sudden, these big purple things appear.
Yeah. Looks like a shuriken hit me. Sideways.
Yeah. And I normally only pay homage to baseball just one podcast a year. But on this year, we had two iconic, giant Major League Baseball players pass away. And I do mean literally giants because they played for the Giants most of their career. One was Orlando Cepeda, who passed away on June 28th. And the other one was Willie Mays, who passed away on June 18th. These people were unbelievable, But before we get into that, I have a story for you, a actual baseball story that isn't funny. Now, did you know that an athletics pitcher named Sean Newcomb, he picked up a win without facing a batter?
How could that be?
Well, here you go. Are you ready?
Yes.
What ended up happening, this is how the article reads. From Oakland, California, athletics reliever Sean Newcomb picked up a win with a pickoff and without officially facing a batter. Newcomb 1-0 became the first pitcher in athletics' 124-year history to earn a victory despite not facing a batter Friday night when Oakland defeated the Minnesota Twins 6-5. Now,
wow.
Yeah. This is the way it reads here now. When the A's trailing...
That's pretty bad.
Oh, yeah. Now, get this. With the A's trailing 5-4, Newcomb came in relief to face Minnesota's Willie Castro and Austin Martin on first and 2 outs in the 8th inning. With a 1-1 count on Castro, the left-hander Newcomb picked off Martin to end the inning. Then what ends up happening, the A's hit a 2-run home run. At the bottom of the 8th, Mason Miller came out to pitch the 9th and sealed the rare win for Newcomb with his 14th save. So he goes in as the winning pitcher without officially facing a batter because he picked off Martin on first base. To me, that's exciting. I know it doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I used to watch baseball.
All righty. Well, let's get into the podcast real quick. What do you say, Cotton?
Okay, sounds good.
All righty. Now, I know you are not a big baseball fan, but I'm going to tell you these two players were awesome. Orlando Cepeda, who played for the Giants, was born on September 17, 1937 in Puerto Rico. He was a first baseman in the Major League Baseballs who played, get this, he played for 6 different teams. The majority of it, though, was with the Giants.
Wow.
Now, they retired his number, and there's a statue of him in front of Oracle Park where they play. His dad was a kind of a professional ball player as well, and he was called the Bull. That was his nickname. So,
oh, really?
The Orlando Cepeda was called Little Bull, and he carried that nickname into the major leagues. Now,
wow, I got something in common. My parents used to call me little shit.
Yeah, just put bull in front of that.
Yeah, I'm a little bullshit.
Now, the thing is that's very interesting about this, apparently his dad was good enough. He should have made the major leagues. That's how good he was. But him being a dark-skinned Puerto Rican, they wouldn't allow him to play. Which is, it just amazes me. All righty, but he was still an outstanding player. Matter of fact, his dad was so well known that they would get some of the Negro League players in Puerto Rico to come by and visit him.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And then don't forget, baseball was big, too, in Cuba. And he would get the Cuban professionals, and they would come over and they would visit him. But Cotton, getting back to Orlando Cepeda, was excellent, an excellent, excellent player. But no one compares to Willie Mays.
Oh, yeah.
The Say Hey Kid.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they used to call him, the Say Hey Kid. Now, this man, to me, arguably was the best 5'2" player in baseball. He was awesome. Yeah, he was an all-around player. No one else, I think, could ever match him. I mean, for his position that he played, he hit for average. He hit for power. His base running and speed were unbelievable. His throwing and fielding. That's what they call a 5-tool player. This guy was all around. He was awesome. Great. Yeah. As a matter of fact, he started his career in the Negro Leagues. Yeah, he played for the Birmingham Black Barons.
I never heard of it.
Yeah. Oh, well, you don't follow baseball. And if you hardly follow baseball, Cotton, you don't follow the Negro Leagues. Matter of fact, they just had a game at the stadium where the Black Barons used to play. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Because, everybody always wondered, where do you get the name the Say Hey Kid? Right? And he said in an interview in 2006, he credited to a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Cannon, which was a sports writer. And he said every time he saw Mays would go, "Hey, man," or "Say hey, man," right? So then he named him, though they called him the Say Hey Kid. And the way Mays looked at it, he says, well, if you're Ted Williams, you're the Splinter. If you're Joe DiMaggio, you're Joltin' Joe. If you're Stan Musial, you're the man. I guess if you hit a few home runs, they got to give you a name. And where he credited it for the Say Hey Kid. Now, as you know, he played center field. He was born in Westfield, Alabama, and he died in Palo Alto. He had a home up here in Palo Alto.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, Orlando Cepeda also passed away in Concord. Yeah, so they both lived in the Bay Area. And his parents, both of them, were outstanding athletes. The father himself, he was...
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Father himself, his nickname was Cat Mays. He not only, but he played basketball, but he also played, baseball, basketball. It was just about everything. And his mom was Annie Satterwhite, was also a very good track star and a basketball player. So, his roots were in athletics. His dad worked for an iron company. He played baseball for them on their team. Almost like a semi-pro.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then when he was growing up, Joe DiMaggio, Ted Williams, Stan Musial, those were the players that he would watch.
Met him and got an autograph ball from him.
Which one? Stan Musial?
Stan Musial.
Yeah. I have one of those. Yeah. Mike Robbins got me a ball with Stan Musial and Ernie Banks on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or was that me or him?
What's that?
Oh, is that Mike?
Yeah, Mike Robbins got me the ball. He was going there.
Around for my ball.
Yeah, he was going there, and it ended up. And he said Ernie Banks was going to be there, and I said, "Man, I want his autograph." Well, what happened was Stan Musial was also there, so I have both their names on one ball. So yeah, that was pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah, and then what ends up happening? He ends up going from the Negro Leagues to the major leagues with the Giants. He gets to play, I think, 1 or 2 seasons. Then he's drafted.
Oh.
Yeah, we're in the height of the Korean War. He's drafted, but he never sees action. What ends up happening? Yeah, somebody wanted him on the baseball team, so that's where he ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's where he learned to do the basket catch when he was in the service. And then what ended up happening, he got discharged in 1954 because of a bone chip or something like that. We was sliding in one of the bases, and it ended up getting hurt. So and what does he do? He gets discharged. 2 days later, he's in the spring training.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just went, "Shoo, I'm going right to spring training." Oh yeah. Now the thing about Mays was that he won 12 consecutive Gold Gloves. This was introduced in 1957 all the way up through 1968. He was awesome.
Wow.
And get this.
Yeah.
This was very interesting. Is that Willie Mays was being scouted by the Braves at the time they were in Milwaukee. So at the time they were in Milwaukee, and they're being scouted. He's in high school, and they were seeing this guy, and the head coach, I think his name was Henry Jenkins, says, "Watch this guy." I said, "We need to sign this guy," and then they send 2 of his assistants down there, and they said, "Nah, he's not worth the $2,500 in signing bonus." Okay. And so they lost him. Can you imagine if the Braves would have signed Mays? From 1954 to 1965, you got Henry Aaron, Eddie Matthews, Warren Spahn, and Willie Mays on the same team.
Jeez.
Oh man, he was awesome. And Willie Mays, Willie Mays, get this, he won the Most Valuable Player awards in 1954 and 1965. He also won 2 All-Star Game Most Valuable Players in 63 and 68, and was ranked the 2nd greatest player in Major League history by the Sports News in their list of 100 greatest ball players.
Wow.
He was awesome. Willie Mays, in 1972, became the 3rd player to have his number retired for the Giants.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Look at this here. Willie Mays had 17 20 home run seasons in 1951. And then, of course, he was drafted, then came back in 1954 through 1968 and 1970. 11 30 home run seasons and 6 40 home run seasons.
Jeez.
And that's not all.
Amazing.
That's not all. 2 50 home run seasons.
Oh really?
Yep. And like Willie Mays was an all-star 24 times. He's tied with Hank Aaron and Stan Musial for the most baseball history, prompting Ted Williams to say they invented the All-Star game for Willie Mays.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you remember the catch? I don't know if you remember the catch. Iconic moment in the World Series, 1954 World Series. Over-the-shoulder catch by Willie Mays in the 8th inning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You see that all the time. I mean, that's one thing you always remember about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Looking behind it, that's one of the hardest catches to ever make.
Yeah. And how do you do that? I mean,
I've only come close one time. That happened to me. I've only come close one time to make a catch like that, and it went through my hands.
Oh, I was gonna
You're
say,
looking behind and
it-
you're running,
it hit you in
and
the
you go
back of
up,
the head.
and it goes right in between your glove and your hand.
Yeah.
That is one of the hardest
Yeah.
catches to
Beats-
ever make.
beats getting hit in the back of the head.
That would be Jose Canseco.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that when he was playing with the Rangers? And they took him to
Yeah.
the warning track, and it was a pretty low fence. They took him to the warning track, and he's trying to look to get it, and it popped him in the head, and it made a home run. It hit him on the head and made a home run. And now with me, I'd have been knocked out. Oh, man, I'd have been laid out on the floor. Oh, yeah, he was just laughing like, oh, I guess I missed it. Yeah, boink. All right.
Bro.
Yeah. And in January 17th, 1970, the Sporting News named Willie Mays the player of the decade.
Wow. Yeah, I believe that.
Oh,
That's-
yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
He-
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Willie Mays homered in his first 4 consecutive games in 1971. Now, this guy's becoming near the end of his career, and he's still smacking out homers. You know,
It's
without steroids.
incredible. Incredible.
And then he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1979 with 94.7% of the votes.
Wow.
Well, a lot of people were upset that he didn't get 100%. There was 23 who voted against him to enshrine Willie Mays.
Man.
And this one guy, his name is Dick Young. He writes for the New York Daily News. Yeah, he said, even if Jesus Christ were to show up with his old baseball gloves, some guys wouldn't vote for him. I mean, after all, he dropped the cross 3 times.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Now Willie Mays, he was selected for one of the 3 outfielders for Rawlings' all-time Gold Glove team. In August of 2007, during the 50th anniversary of the Gold Glove Awards, the best defensive player in baseball history was announced. And the Say Hey Kid won that highest honors.
Man. That's great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I want you to think about this. If you were in New York in the early 50s, think about this. You had Willie Mays for the Giants playing center field. You had Duke Snider for the Dodgers playing center field. And you had Mickey Mantle for the Yankees playing center field.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Amazing.
Oh, man.
What
You're
a
not.
team.
You are not kidding. Woo!
Oh yeah.
And then and one of his honors, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom honor.
Wow.
It was given to him by President Obama in 2015. But you know what, Cotton? We're running a little long on this one, so what do you say we bring this one to a close, buddy?
Yeah, I'm right out of the park.
Yeah, hit it out of the park, right? Have a great one, my man.
You got it. Nos vemos después.
We'd like to thank you for listening and leave you with this one quote from Willie Mays. In order to excel, you must be completely dedicated. And until next time, may God bless.